Hey guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. As expected, unti-unti na po nating nakikilala yung ilan sa mga biktima mula dun sa trahedyang nangyari po sa Vancouver, the car ramming incident at the Lapu-Lapu Festival a couple of nights ago. Primarily, nakilala ko po yung ilan sa mga victims through the GoFundMe pages na ngayon po ay sinishare sa social media. Of course, that's to help raise funds for their families, to cover for costs like yung mga funeral costs nila, etc. Okay, pero bago po natin puntahan yun, no, gusto ko po magkaroon muna ng follow-up discussion from my episode last night. By the way, pagkatapos ko i-record yung episode, I think less than an hour later, nireveal na nga po yung pangalan nung driver suspect. Siya po ay si Kai G. Adam Lo. So 30 years old, and he has already been charged with 8 counts of second-degree murder according to Vancouver Police. At maaari pang ma-modify daw yung charges na yan, maaring madagdagan in the coming days. Okay. And also, another point na I want to raise, remember na pag-usapan po natin yung marami daw na mga interactions niya with police patungkol sa kanyang mental health issues. Diba? Sabi ko, ano ba yung interactions na yan? There was a press conference also yesterday. Tinanong yung isang police can you parang to expound a little bit more about that? And he really didn't give much details. But today, meron po ako nakitang report briefly mentioning it. At talaga nga namang napakaraming interactions ni Kai G. Adam Lo with the police. Let me show you this report.
For now, Lo faces 8 murder charges. Police say they've had numerous interactions with Lo, and sources have told Global News that those interactions far exceed 50. At an afternoon press conference, Mayor Ken Sim says change is desperately needed.
This has been going on for far too long and throughout many administrations. We need that mandatory care faster. We need more of it, and we need it faster. We cannot take a government approach to this. Lives are on the line.
It's time to look at our legislation, both reviewing it and seeing if there's something more that we should be adding so that we can really deal with the crisis that we have on our hands here.
Narinig niyo yun? The number of interactions far exceed 50. Napakarami. Ano ba yan? Kaya naiintindihan ko yung ilang mga comments sa aking episode na nagtatanong na kung talagang maluba ang kanyang mental health, no? Talagang problematic ang kanyang pag-iisip, meron talaga siyang pinagdadaanan. Bakit siya maaring mag-drive? Yan. Bakit siya binibigyan ng lisensya? Okay. I am not sure, guys, kung ano talaga ang batas ng Canada patungkol dyan, but I would just assume that right now, alam lang natin, basta na kapag maneho pa rin itong si Kai G. Adam Lo, despite what seems to be a severe, a serious mental health problem that he has. Kung tama po na meron ng mahigit 50 siyang encounters with the police. Sinearch ko rin, ano ba talaga itong mga encounters na to? What could they be? O, na-google ko naman, guys. Ito ang lumabas, Ang sabi dito, it could be, ayan, na-encounter siya through a police routine patrol. Pwedeng as part of an ongoing investigation. Rumiresponde sa complaints or incidents. Pwedeng may accidents na pinagrespondehan. Pwedeng pag-i-issue ng ticket. Arrests also when necessary, etc. Okay? So anyway, the sheer number of it really makes me understand why people are asking why this guy is allowed to drive a car. Kaya tulad po nung sinabi nung mayor tsaka nung isang local official dun sa interview, no, some changes need to be made. Okay? Ang hirap talaga matanggap, tulad na nasabi ko kagabi, ang hirap matanggap na ang sasabihin ng isang tao ay hindi siya mentally stable, kaya siya nakakagawa ng mga krimen tulad nito. This is not a simple crime. Multiple murder charges, and then you say you are mentally unstable and expect people to just accept it na yun na yun. You will not go to jail for it. Again, instead, mapupunta po, kung sakaling doon po hahantong itong investigation na to, yung trial sa kanya, and he claims to be mentally unstable or mentally ill or facing mental health problems, he will be detained at a mental health facility where he will be treated. Ganun po kasi ang mangyayari, no? 'Di ba? Ang hirap tanggapin para again, doon lalo na sa mga pamilya ng mga nasawi. Ang hirap niyang tanggapin to the point that the anger that they feel makes them doubt whether or not this person is really mentally ill. 'Di ba? Ganun po ang nangyayari. But definitely, if somebody is seriously facing mental health problems, I think it could be a ground for people na wag pong hayaan mag-drive. Kasi una sa lahat, guys, hindi natin alam kung anong pinagdadaanan ni Kaiji Adam Lo, di ba? Hindi naman po sinabi. Ano ba, siya po ba ay depressed? Siya po ba ay suicidal? Siya po ba ay schizophrenic? Hindi natin alam di ba? But definitely, ako naman, I do not think I would support a blanket ban ng mga pag-i-issue ng lisensya sa lahat ng may pinagdadaan ng mental health struggle. 'Di ba? Hindi naman po kasi pare-pareho ang level ng mental health problem ng isang tao, 'di ba? Merong hindi masyado, I guess, serious, naggagamot naman po. And okay naman po ang pagresponde dun sa gamot, 'di ba? I think those are cases na maaaring makapagmaneho. But in this case where there's been more than 50 encounters, tulad nung nasabi ng mayor tsaka nung isang official doon sa report, I think there needs to be some sort of change when it comes to dealing with people with that kind of mental illness. Halimbawa, di ba, kunyari, if somebody is determined to be suicidal, I think, di ba, I think that could be a ground for somebody to avoid driving a car. Kasi it would, to me, increase the risk of him or her trying to get into a self-inflicted accident, hindi po ba? And at the same time, potentially affect another person or persons in another vehicle. Hindi natin alam. Mga ganun po bang bagay? So, yeah, I think some laws need to be changed at the very least. Diba? If not for, in the case of Kaiji Adam Lo, for future incidents, I think we owe it to the victims who have died, seriously injured, and to their families, diba? Para hindi naman pumamatay in vain na lang ang kanilang mga mahal sa buhay. Diba? So, sige, babasahin ko. Kaya, alam mo, sabi ko nga, hindi ako nagugulat na yan din ang sentimiento ng ilan sa comment section ko kagabi, no? I will read to you some. Yan, sabi dito, Canada should have stricter rules in regards to mental health patients. This could have been avoided if politicians would take the healthcare crisis seriously. Mental health being a huge issue where people are not getting any help or the help they deserve. If this doesn't scream change, I don't know what will. Yan, prayers and justice for the victims. That is from Rosel Teofilo. Maraming salamat sa'yo. Another one, Dixie Tabake, sabi niya, since the driver has mental history, he should have been prevented to freely drive or handle any motor vehicles by his family or the government itself to prevent future tragedy. Sabi rin ni Joy Hechanova, health professionals, may it be this person's psychologist, psychiatrist, should also stand accountable for allowing such a person to be out in the community, especially that person in question had already been well known by authorities due to his mental capacity. That should in itself be a red flag. Yun na nga, di ba? Di rin natin alam, guys, di ba, if the guy has been recommended to just stay home ba, kung meron siyang gamot, tinitake ba niya, nagko-comply siya, paano yung oversight pagdating sa isang mentally challenged person, di ba? Para tulungan silang i-ensure na nakukuha nila yung treatment dapat makuha nila. And they're keeping themselves safe, and at the same time, keep the people around them safe too, hindi ba? Okay. Ito naman pong sunod. Ito si Colwood. Actually, Canada should not allow people with mental health problems to drive until they are medically permitted. Ayan. This will happen again for sure. Condolences to all that has been afflicted by this senseless act of mental health persons. Ito sabi, sino to? Naku, RD. Vote wisely mga kababayan, enough of catch and release policy. Naku, isa pa yung catch and release policy talaga na yan, ano? Anyway, again, maraming salamat po dun sa mga tumutok dun sa ating, o nanood ng episode natin kagabi. Yun lang naman po ang gusto ko idagdag o i-follow up doon sa ating discussion kahapon. Okay, puntahan natin ngayon, ano? Kilalanin natin. Ito na nga. Ang dami ng mga nagsulputan din po mga GoFundMe pages, of course, to help again the families of those who were killed. Unahin natin ito, naku. Ito pa lang si Rowell Belardo. Isa po siya sa mga namatay. He was just a visitor in Canada. Ay, nako. At ngayon, humihingi po ng tulong ang kanyang pamilya para maiuwi ang kanyang labi sa Bicol, Albay, Philippines. Sabi dito, our greatest wish is to bring him home so they can lay him to rest with love and dignity. Ayan, kailangan daw po ng funds for hospital fees, funeral services, necessary documents, and the cost of his journey back home. Ito rin pa, isa pa. Si Ate Riza, ayan o, help bring my Ate Riza home. Isa pa rin po siya sa mga nasawi. Ay, no? Sabi niya. So Riza, pinsan daw niya. Okay, ang gumawa po ng GoFundMe page. Riza is a loving wife, devoted sister, and cherished loved one to so many. Okay? Sabi niya, she moved to the Philippines, to Winnipeg, with her husband in search of a better life. Nung wala daw pong masyadong family nga, na-realize doon na walang close family, we encouraged her to come to Vancouver so she could be closer to us, to be surrounded by love and support. Ay, nako. So, ayun din, ano? We are doing everything we can to reunite Riza with her loved ones back home in the Philippines, to lay her to rest with the family who raised her and loved her deeply. Ay, naku po, nakakalungkot, ano? So, condolence po sa family ni Ate Riza. Ito, guys, nakakalungkot ito. Wow, no? Tatlo po sa pamilyang to. Tatlo sa nasa litratong to ang namatay. Yung mga magulang at yung mas batang bata na anak po nila, no? Oh my gosh, di ba? Ano ba yan? Nakakalungkot. The Le family. Sabi dito, many lives were changed forever. When a 30-year-old man, ayan, plowed through a heavily populated street, dun po sa Vancouver. Ay, nako. So, namatay po si Richard Le, Lin Hoang, Katie Le. 5 years old po yung batang namatay. They were killed either instantly or later succumbed to their injuries in the hospital. Ang natira na lang po, no, si Kuya Andy, the sole survivor, lived only because last minute daw, he decided to stay home to finish his homework instead of attending the event with his family. I have no words. Imagine, it's unimaginable to me, yung nararamdaman po ni Kuya Andy dito. Okay, and this one also, naku po, ito, kababayan din natin, si Val at ang kanyang anak na si Jeb de la Cruz. Baby pa si Jeb, oh. Tignan nyo naman. Okay, but Val and Jeb are still in the hospital recovering. Sana po magtuloy-tuloy po ang kanilang recovery, no? May pictures po nga na pinost dito na nasa ICU silang mag-ama. Diba? Ito po ang picture ni Daddy. Naka-blur din naman ang picture po ni Baby, no? Mabilis ko na lang ipapakita yun. Ano ba yan? Oh. I'm raising funds, sabi dito, for two incredibly important people in my life. Yung kapatid daw po niya na si Val at ang kanyang pamangkin na si Jeb. They're going through a very rough time and I'm determined to do everything I can to support them, sabi po ng kapatid ni Val. Okay, anong kwento nitong mag-ama, no? wala pang 2 years old si baby boy Jeb. And are now fighting for their lives in the ICU, suffering from severe injuries and multiple fractures. Sabi dito, my brother is the sole provider for his family, and due to the incident, covering their expenses will be a significant challenge. Okay, nako, I will pray for you, Val and Jeb. Kasama kayong dalawa sa dasal ko ngayong araw, at of course, ang inyong pamilya. I hope you guys heal quick. May update po pala dito, no? Sabi, Val has already been transferred to the high acuity unit and is showing signs of improvement. Yun po si Daddy. Si Jeb naman ay nasa ICU pa rin. His condition is still critical and he continues to be closely monitored. Grabe, iba rin talaga ang pakiramdam kapag may batang involved, especially such a young child. Wala pang 2 years old. So yan po ang mga nakita ko sa social media. Oh, by the way, which reminds me, yung Philippine Consulate General in Vancouver, meron po silang post sa kanilang Facebook, warning people, advising people na maging maingat po kayo sa mga fundraising activities online. Meron po yatang, sabi nung consulate, meron ilang accounts using the logo or messages from the consulate as part of their campaign to raise funds. Sinasabi po ng consulate, wala po silang sinasanction na kahit anong grupo o tao para gamitin ang kanilang pangalan, ang pangalan ng opisina for any fundraising activity for the victims. So mag-ingat din po kayo, ha? Nako po. Yung mga masasamang loob dyan, kaya ko na magsalita, please, so, huwag yun ang gamitin itong trahedyang to para kumita, ha? Kung meron mang ganun. But anyway, yun lang naman po. As always, let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. I will end this episode here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!